you find a lawyer for Ms. Hill? Let's see.
Your Honor, you're talking about Miss Shatisha Hill, right?
Uh-huh.
I had one of her previous cases. One of our PDs, Miss Kenya Bryan, is working on her indicted case.
Yeah, I just got an announcement. I just got the phone with Miss Kenya Bryant. They're working on a global resolution, Your Honor, so that case can be removed from the calendar for today. Well,
Okay.
in general.
But we'll also let Ms. Hill know that as of on October the 10th, there is 2 probation violation warrants. So maybe that's including what they're working a resolution out on.
Okay, yeah, and for this case, I see a waiver of indictment. So yeah, they're trying to work on a global resolution for everything.
Okay, so just so you know that, Ms. Hill, so they're removing this because they're trying to work out some sort of resolution. If there's anything I can do, you guys send it to me. Thank you, Ms. Hill. I'm sure your lawyer will be in touch with you.
Hey,
All right.
Judge,
Yes.
I forgot to announce at the beginning that Mr. Taquan Brown, position 21, was released December 30th.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if that was why you requested I return to court, but
Oh, no, I didn't request you come back here.
I got a
Judge, I
text.
sent him a message in the chat if he wants to check the chat. Lieutenant Cunningham with Cobb County needed him to call her in regards to one of his clients, and he just got off of and I sent him a message in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Okay, indicating her number and everything.
Thank you very much.
So who else is that South Annex ACDC? Who else is that?
Position 24, Ms. Williams.
Who's sitting there? What's your name, ma'am?
Keandra Williams. Position 24.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. Where did that one go? 1 second.
Your Honor, Ms. Collins asked to have that reset for 30 days.
Yes, that one has been reset because they're waiting on an ex parte results to return.
All right, may we be excused, Your Honor?
Absolutely. You like your new name there, South Annex ACDC?
City Jail.
Have a good one, South Annex.
Bye.
All right, now that we got, wait, what, Mr. Tessier? What about Michael Foster? That's got Mr. Tessier's name on it. Mr. Tessier? Mr. Tessier?
Yes, Judge.
We got a Michael Foster here. That's got your name on it.
Yeah, that was the one that we handled at the beginning.
No, we're removing it, right?
No, we're removing Taquan Brown. That was position 21.
Oh yeah,
He
we
was released.
handled Michael Foster already, right?
Yeah, and we handled Michael Foster.
Okay, yeah. All right, that's it. All right, Andre Wells. All right, Ms. Correa, that's 13, Bostic, 22 CP 206-608, Andre Wells, 332 days without indictment, $5,750 good bond as of August the 23rd, loitering and prowling, financial transaction, car theft, possession and use of drug-related objects, theft by receiving stolen property. Pre-trial.
Judge, in regards to Mr. Wells, 14 prior arrests, multi-state offender, 14 in Georgia, 1 in Louisiana, 5 in Tennessee. I don't understand my short, and I'm so sorry, Judge. I think he's the one with the CWAC in the burglary charges. I'm sorry, with the CWAC, the old CWAC and the old burglaries, Judge.
Okay.
Further.
All right, Ms. Correa.
Thank you, Your Honor. So before court today, I had emailed you and Deputy Amjadi. Mr. Wells has been in custody, as you noted, 332 days. So it will be 1 full year on February 13th, which is coming up soon. Mr. Wells has been accepted into the Hope House program, which is a rehabilitative program with a residential component. At this time, Mr. Wells is unable to pay this bond, and the bail project has this has exceeded their financial limitations as to bonds that they are willing to pay. So while I do understand what his criminal history is, the charges before the court, they are nonviolent in nature. He has had his preliminary hearing. His preliminary hearing happened back in August. So at this time, I'm asking your honor to consider a UJR to the program, and I will be filing the appropriate release order for him to be released directly into the custody of the Hope House program. So he would, either the sheriff's office would transport him to their facility, or somebody from their facility will come to the jail and pick him up. So there would be no release to the street. He would go directly from jail custody to the Hope House program. And so that is my request of the court today. Thank you.
Ms. Anjali.
Your Honor, Mr. Wells is an APD repeat offender, so the state cannot consent to a bond reduction. However, if the court is inclined to release Mr. Wells to the program as an alternative to his current bond amount, I would have no objection to that. I would respectfully request ankle monitoring if that is the court's decision. Thank you.
So you're talking about releasing with the money and to the program, but with the money attached if he doesn't get into it.
Yes, please, Your Honor.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact with Jalissa, Jalisa Fox, Fox. Stay away from 625 Piedmont Avenue. And she's gonna live in he's gonna live in Atlanta, Ms. Correa.
Yes, Your Honor, I'll file the change of address contemporaneously with the release order.
Okay, so we got a 24-hour curfew except for court, medical visits, medical attorney visits, and participating in this program. Ankle monitor will be paid for by the county. So we'll do the UJR to that program.
Yes, so that would put a hold on him, and then with I won't leave the office today until I have drafted this this release order for your consideration, Your Honor, and then with your signature, I can file that. A release order just provides a specific date, and it also gives the jail pharmacy time to release him with a 30-day supply as well. So he wouldn't be able to be released until a specific time and date into a specific person, either the sheriff's office transporting him to the facility or somebody from the facility coming to collect him.
Okay, so we'll do UJR to that. If they don't pick him up, it's 500 on count 1, 2,000 on count 2, 1,000 on count 3, and 100 on count 4. Got that, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Your Honor. And Mr. Correa, what was the name of the program again?
Hope House,
Okay,
HOPEHOUSE.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Sir, you can leave the booth. All right, so we got Joshua Terza.
Yes, good evening, Judge.
All right, here we go. We got multiple cases.
Before we get started, it was actually a fourth case that for some reason is not on his calendar. It was 22 CP 207486.
It's on the add-on.
It's on the add-on. Okay, so I just want to make sure we're addressing all 4 cases today.
All right, so here we go. 22 CP 207486, 301 days without indictment. On this case, there is a $111,000 good bond for burglary of the second degree, trafficking methamphetamines, possession of cocaine with intent to distribute, possession of heroin with intent to distribute, PGCSA, possession of methamphetamine with intent to distribute, financial transaction, car theft, possession of marijuana less than an ounce, possession of drug-related objects. 22 CP 207488. Same thing, got 301 days without indictment. There is a $13,000 good bond as of August the 29th on injuring, tearing down, destruction of mailboxes, injuring or defacing mail, burglary in the second degree, theft by taking misdemeanor. Then we got 22 CP 207492. Same thing, 301 days without indictment. There is a $15,000 good bond as of August the 29th on burglary in the second degree, theft by taking misdemeanor, injuring, tearing down, or destruction of mailboxes, injuring, defacing, or destruction of mail. And we got 22 CP 207494. 301 days without indictment. There is a $15,000 good bond as of August the 29th on burglary in the second degree, theft by taking, injuring, tearing down, or destruction of mailboxes, injuring, or defacing, destruction of mail. Pre-trial.
Judge, in regards to Mr. Joseph,
Terza?
32 prior arrests, he has 1, 2, 3 other open cases with the same type of charges, burglary in the mail. He has 7 arrests for probation violations. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 other felony, at least 4 other felony convictions for meth or burglary. Couple of FTAs, 04, 11, and 09, and at least 7 arrests for probation violations, nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Nobles.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Terza is 43 years old. He's been living here in the jurisdiction his entire life. He did graduate from high school, from Etowah High School, and he also attended Georgia Southern, where he studied business management for 2 years. He does have ties to his area, Judge. His mother, father, 2 brothers, a son, and a daughter all reside here in the state. He currently has a daughter attending Kennesaw State University. So he does have significant ties to his area. I do not believe that he would be a threat to flee this jurisdiction if granted a reasonable bond. As the court recited, he has been in custody for 301 days. These cases are still not yet indicted. He also has not had the benefit of a preliminary hearing on these matters. So we're here again as the court to consider a reduction of this bond.
Where is he gonna live, Mr. Noble?
He does have an address. It would be at 3759 Pentel Court in Doraville, Georgia. That's where he would reside upon release.
All right.
I'll talk briefly about these cases. Well, starting with the trafficking and the drug case, all of these items were found in one single backpack found inside of a vehicle that did not belong to Mr. Terza. There was a mention of that he was possibly seen in the passenger seats, but he denies any connection or ownership over this bag. Again, he hasn't had the benefit of a preliminary hearing to sort this out, but we are asking the court to set and to reduce that bond at $111,000, equivalent to no bond for him. That amount is prohibitive. We'd ask for a reduction to cut that in half. Also, we're asking for a bond of $55,000 on that case. And for the remaining burglary counts, we were here on a bond hearing back on December 14th for other cases he had with similar charges. At that time, he had private counsel, so I was not able to address these other identical burglary, injuring, mailbox, theft by taking cases. I'll just ask the court to reduce the bonds so that they match on those matters from the $15,000 to $6,000. And so we ask for a reduction accordingly.
All right. What says the state?
Well, Your Honor, besides having a hold out of DeKalb County, Mr. Terza has 7 open cases in Fulton County. His criminal history seems to be consistent with somebody who is dealing with drug addiction. He had needles on him when he was arrested for one of these cases. The state's position, Your Honor, given the fact that the defendant has as many open cases as he does, and factoring in his criminal history, is that bond, as previously set, is fair and reasonable. Thank you.
All right. So the first case ending in 7486. We're going to add a little thing here. Stay out of Fulton County. It'll be on all these, sir. Stay out of Fulton County. Let's hear for court or to see your lawyer. Fill up with gas in the cab, sir. Don't run out of gas or get a flat tire in Fulton County. That would be a violation of your bond conditions. So all these are going to stay out of Fulton County unless you're for court or to see your lawyer. No drugs unless prescribed. No workup project. You can leave for court, medical appointments, emergencies, and attorney visits. Before we were going to get you into a treatment program. So if you get into some sort of treatment program, you can leave for that, but you got to show proof of acceptance into a treatment program. Stay away from AVONLEA on the River Apartments at 6015 State Bridge Road in John Creeks, Georgia. Stay away from all Courtyard Marriotts. No further contact. Here you go, your victims. Matthew Keith Brown Jr., Sameer, Sameer, last name Khanna. Next name is Jun, last name Bae, Bae. Next name is Fanny, Fanny, last name is Ulloa. And the last victim, alleged victim, is Max Shim, S-H-I-M. All right, we'll do 5,000, 40,000, 10,000, 10,000, 7,000, 7,000, 250, and 250. 5,000, 40,000, 10,000, 10,000, 7,000, 7,000, 250, and 250. On position 7. Same thing, you got the ankle monitor paid for out of the Orca project, 24-hour curfew, except for court, lawyer, medical attention, or go to the treatment program. Stay out of Fulton County, sir. Always stay out of Fulton County unless you're for court or to see your lawyer. Don't stop, don't pass go, don't collect $200, so to speak, okay? No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from same thing. Avonlea on the River Apartments at 6015 State Bridge Road in Duluth, Georgia. No further contact with your co-defendant, Ashley, A-S-H-L-E-I-G-H, last name Branch, B-R-A-N-C-H. So we got 3,000, 3,000, and 3,000. 3,000 on each count. The other one, position 8, you've already got a $15,000 good bond. Stay out of Fulton County unless you're for court or to see your lawyer. Don't stop for gas, don't get a flat tire, don't stop at Chick-fil-A, anything like that. You can't even get a job at Chipotle if it's in Fulton County. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. That ankle monitor is going to be paid for by the county out of the Orca project. All right, same thing. Court, lawyer, medical, or if you get into a treatment program, you can leave. But you got to supply that to the ankle monitoring company. Once again, stay away from Avonlea on the River Apartments at 6015 State Bridge Road in Duluth, and no further contact with Ashley Branch. So I got 3,000, 3,000, and 3,000. Position 9. Same thing. So stay out of Fulton County unless you're for court or to see your lawyer. You're going to have an ankle monitor paid for by the county. You have the Orca project with a 24-hour curfew, except for court, lawyer, medical appointments, and if you get into the treatment program, you can be there. No further contact with Ashley Branch. That's your co-defendant. Stay away from Avonlea on the River Apartments at 6015 State Bridge Road. One says John Creeks, one says Duluth. I think they're kind of the same. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. So we got 3,000 on each, 3, 3, and 3. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. I got Joshua Carter.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. That completes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good evening. Happy New Year.
All right, same to you.
All right, Joshua Carter. Can you wave your hand, Joshua Carter?
Is it Castor?
Oh, I'm sorry. Castor. Joshua Castor. My bad. All right, I barely see a hand. So just kind of wave because this. Don't really know who. There you go. All right. Position 14, Bostic. 22 CP 212533. Got 112 days without indictment with a $6,500 good bond as of September the 22nd. Willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, felony, simple assault, criminal trespass. Pre-trial.
Castor, 18 prior arrests, couple of convictions for simple battery, 2018 and 2020. At the time of his arrest on probation for simple battery, 12/30/2021 for 12 months, nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Sampson.
Yes, Your Honor, I don't think I heard any felony convictions, right, Bostic?
Nope.
Okay. So, Your Honor, as you heard, he does not have any felony convictions. He's been in the Fulton County Jail for almost 100 days. At this time, I believe his bond is $6,500. Of course, he cannot afford a bond, and he does not qualify for the Bell Project since his bond is so high. So I believe this was also this started off as no. So at this time, Your Honor, I'm asking for a bond not to exceed $4,000, so we could possibly put him through the Bell Project. He does have a he does have a medical condition that makes him more susceptible to having injuries in the jail.
I don't know if they're going to accept him. He's got a felony willful obstruction. Do they accept that?
Yeah.
All right. What address? Because the address we have is an Alabama address.
The address that I have, well, we're working on getting him into a program, but the address that I have right now is at 201 Washington Street, Atlanta, Georgia, 30303 right now.
All right, he's going to have to supply an address where he's going to be living, okay? Go ahead, Ms. Amjadi.
Your Honor, I apologize. Which position is this?
14.
Your Honor, may I please request a $5,000 bond or no lower than a $5,000 bond for the obstruction charge? And then no lower than 1,000 for the other two?
So it's 5, 1, and 500.
5, 1, and 500?
That's what it
Okay,
is.
then bond as previously said is fair and reasonable, Your Honor. Thank you.
Wait, wait a minute, my math is not that great, but.
What
That's
can I
fine.
say, Miss Sampson? Sometimes I'm a little bit special.
We'll talk about all that afterwards, Miss Sampson. All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact with Officer Joshua Dryden, Dryden, unless it's in his official duties. Stay away from 100 Edgewood Avenue Southeast. Also stay away from all Georgia State property. So some Georgia State property bleeds over into Georgia Tech. Remember, it was called the Olympic housing for the Olympic athletes. Stay away. If it says Georgia State, stay away from it. Stay away from the park, Woodruff Park right there in the middle of it. If it's got a Georgia State person, a person wearing a Georgia State t-shirt, turn and go away, sir. So don't go back over there. If you do, it'll be a violation of your bond conditions. You're gonna have to supply an address upon being let go. Oh, you have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with that 24-hour curfew, except for court, lawyer, medical, employment. You have to supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, schedule, and the location you'll be working. You have to give that to Ms. Sampson. She can over to the state and to the ankle monitoring company. So I'm gonna leave count 1 at 5,000. I'm gonna reduce count 2 to 500 and count 3, $250. Best of luck to you, sir. You can lay the booth.
Is that, oh, I'm sorry, is that over 5,000?
So I got 5,500, 250. Yes. You want it down to 5,000?
That would be great, Your Honor, because it sounds like we were basically consenting to a $5,000 bond.
Okay, what about this? So we'll do 4,000 on count 1. We'll leave count 2 and 3 at 500 apiece. So 4,500, 500.
Thank you.
Got that, Madam Clerk? Sorry about that.
Yes, Your Honor, I have it.
Okay, so position 25, Miss Gowdy. I think somebody's covering for Miss Gowdy. That's Sandy Stevens. Sandy Stevens, wave your hand. Thank you, sir. 22 CP 211781, 139 days without indictment. There is a $2,000 good bond as of August the 26th for criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree. Pre-trial.
Judge, in regards to Sandy Stevens, 4 in Nevada, 53 in California. In Georgia, you have Schedule 2 substance in 2018, a robbery in 2012. In California, you have a terrorizing with the intent to terrorize. And spousal support, spousal abuse for 36 months. Nothing further.
All right.
Your Honor, that'll be me.
Go ahead, Ms. Bray.
Your Honor, Mr. Stevens is 56 years old. He has lived here in Georgia for the last 5 years.
Stand by, Ms. Bray, can you stand by 7 North? Keep your seat, stay in the booth, because if I call your name and you're not in the booth, you're getting removed from the calendar. You got it? Perfect. 1 North, you're in or out. This ain't television, it's court. If you got court, get in here and sit down. If not, stay out. Do you have court? Then get out. If you don't, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. If you don't have court, go ahead, Ms. Bray.
Okay, as I was saying, Your Honor, he's been here in Georgia for the last 5 years. Prior to his arrest, he was homeless, Your Honor. Since he's been in custody all this time, Ms. has been able to get him accepted into the Recovery Foundation program. I need to give Your Honor that address. Well, should Your Honor allow him a UJR to that program only. That is what Ms. Gowdy is asking. Recovery Foundation program. The address is 2405 Lawrenceville Highway, Lawrence.
Ms. Bray, okay, so it's not me tonight. Ms. Bray, you froze, so I got 2405 Lawrenceville Highway. I'm assuming that's in Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Yes, Your Honor, 30044. And we would really like for him to be able to go to that program, which is why we're asking for a UJR to the program only.
All right. Ms. Lugo, is this you?
Yes, Your Honor. I just asked Ms. Amjadi a question about this case. If she could just text me back, and then I'll be prepared to make my argument in about 30 seconds.
Okay. And I did hear 53 in California, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms.
Yes.
Bray, do you know if he goes to the program, is he going to have an address after that, or?
Duration of the program. Now, where he may go after the program, I don't know.
I'm
Right.
sorry, Ms. Bray, how long is the program?
It's my understanding that it's 6 to 12 months, depending on how they do.
Your Honor, just for the record, Mr. Stevens was at the hospital at Grady, and it looks like he got agitated and broke a thermometer, and albeit an expensive thermometer, but we don't we would consent to him being released to go to that program and that program only. And we'd ask that he be picked up by the program.
All right. Thank you, Ms.
All right.
Lugo.
So we got no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 80 Jesse Hill Drive, Jesse Hill Jr. Drive Southeast, unless seeking medical attention. But since he's going to be in Lawrenceville, he can stay out of Fulton County unless he's here for court or to see his lawyer. And have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with that 24-hour curfew. Sir, you stay at that Recovery Foundation program and you participate in everything that happens in that program. So that 24-hour curfew, court, medical, and following anything in that program. And we'll put that someone from that program has to pick them up. And I
All right,
forget.
I'll let Ms. Gowdy know that she needs to do a transport order.
Yeah, she'll have to do something, I think, Mr. Rhonda, right? Doesn't they have to say exactly who's going to be picking him up?
Yes, Your Honor, they do.
Okay.
Right, okay.
All right, so we'll leave it at $2,000 in case and UJR to the program only.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Stevens. You can leave the booth. Thank you, sir. All right. Mario Dawson. Thank you, Mr. Dawson. This is position 6, 21 CP 202-372. 159 days without indictment. Looks like pretrial came off of his bond. So we got criminal damage to property, first degree, simple battery against a police officer, police dog, correction, or detention officer. 159 days without indictment. In January, though, there happened to be a $5,000 good bond. However, I digress. Wait a minute.
Your Honor,
Yeah.
initially there was a
What's that?
I apologize, Your Honor. Initially, there was a $10,000 good bond, which was then later reduced to $5,000 before it was a UJR.
Then you all right. Pre-trial.
Somebody is waving.
That's
crazy.
him. I don't know why he's waving. Mr. Dawson, is that you? How you doing? Nope. 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 We don't get to talk yet. Nope. We're here for pre-trial. Go ahead, pre-trial.
18 prior arrests on Dawson. We have a felony obstruction, 2014 aggravated battery, 2 counts, 1 FTA, 1 probation violation. He has aggravated battery, family violence, 2 counts, and a knife, aggravated assault, 2018, 2 years confinement, 3 years probation, ends in July. Nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Bray.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Dawson is 39 years old. He is a lifelong resident of Georgia. He was originally arrested August 19th of 2021. Then he ended up being released on a pretrial signature bond May 11th of 2022 under level 2. But he was, according to Ms. Gowdy's notes, he was released preemptively because she at that time was working with his Grady Act team, but he wasn't released into their care. Since he's been back in jail, we've gotten back in touch with Grady Act team. His case manager is Raquel Cox. They have approved him for ICM services. ICM services is intensive care management. And with that part, he gets access to a housing voucher, weekly meetings with his counselor. He gets assistance with his medication through the Department of Behavioral Health, and 2 Park Place. So Ms. Gowdy is asking for UJR with wrap services and a release to his Grady Act Team counselor only. Or in the alternative, she's asking for a 30-day reset so that if Your Honor needs to speak to his case manager, Raquel Cox, to get more information about this intensive care management, then we could have Ms. Cox present on the Zoom call. But for now, if Your Honor is willing to do the UJR with wrap services with a release to Grady Act Team only, Grady Act Team counselor only, that's what she's requesting.
Ms. Lugo or Ms. Amjadi?
Your Honor, this will be mine. I had initially written down that we would consent to reinstating the original bond amount of $10,000 aggregate. Ms. Bray has detailed a rather comprehensive treatment plan. I personally would be more comfortable if we would get to speak with the counselor before moving forward. That is the state's position, but I will defer to the court at this time, having made our record.
How long do you think, Ms. Bray, do you know? I mean, obviously she won't have a problem with it, so.
How long of a reset to get
Right.
Ms. Cox
Oh.
on?
Right.
Somebody
Mr. Dawson, I don't think anything you're gonna say is going to help you. I assure you, Ms. Bray has got this under control.
Well,
I think
I don't know,
maybe
maybe
he
he's gonna
can't hear
tell us about
something.
Ms. Cox.
Can he not hear?
I
Can
don't
you
know.
hear?
It looks like he's doing a volume gesture, or he was a minute ago.
Can you hear, sir? So I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that
He's just
means.
waving. He's just talking.
Sir, can you do a thumbs up if you can hear us?
Oh, he can hear.
Okay, so he
It's a-
can hear us.
Okay, I mean,
Oh, well, what's that?
I don't know.
We ask him to say it very slowly and maybe try to lip read.
Hold on a second.
That may be overly
let's come-
ambitious.
yeah,
but-
let's come back to him because we gotta get this going so these other folks get out here. Carrie Brookins, we'll come back, Miss Bray.
All right.
Position 19, 22 CP 207-718, Carrie Brookins, 294 days without indictment. As of 6/9/2022 on criminal damage to property, second degree, and battery. Pre-trial.
Prior battery family violence in 2015 on Mr. Brookins. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Sampson.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Brookins is, I believe, 61 years old. He does report to having a, there is an underlying issue, Your Honor. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I have the jail on the other line, on the jail on the phone. Give me 1 second. My apologies, Your Honor. I reached out to, the reason why I had to put on hold, the court on hold, is because I reached out to the jail records about Wilburn in regards to what Attorney Lugo said with the probation hold. They just ran his name and there is actually no probation active warrant. So I just wanted to make sure that was on the record. But
Okay.
So in regards to Mr. Brookins, he does have 4 kids, two in Georgia, Your Honor. He was, before he was arrested, he was working in a bread company in Doraville. He was working there for the past 2 months before he was arrested. I believe, not I believe, but I checked the list for accusation cases. This is one of the cases that can be accused, Your Honor. So he's been waiting on this all this time for his case to be accused. He's already had a preliminary hearing. Preliminary hearing was in September of this point. So his case could have been accused right after the preliminary hearing. At this time, I'm asking for the bond to be split in half, Your Honor.
Word on the streets, Miss Amjadi's gonna have a big meeting with a whole bunch of people about accusing some. You want to get on that list?
I'll bring this file with me, so I'll already be there.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, Ms. Lugo.
Yes, Your Honor. The state believes that the bond is fair and reasonable as set in this case. The victim is Mr. Brookins' ex-wife. He punched her in the face and then damaged her apartment with a knife. Given his history, we would ask that you not reduce the bond. If you do decide to reduce it, it's at $4,000 now. We'd ask that it not be reduced any lower than 2,500, and for him to have no contact at all with Miss Marilyn Fluker and to stay away from 3815 MLK Drive.
All right. So we got no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. You can have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, except for court, lawyer, and medical. Let's see. Stay away from 3815 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive Northwest. You must have a stable address upon release. Does he got an address where you're going to be staying at?
Your Honor, my social worker is looking on that right now.
All right, must provide an address upon release. So you got to provide it to the jail, sir. Got to provide it to jail and your lawyer so that she can file a change of address and file it with the clerk's office. No further contact with Marilyn Fluker, Fluker. No contact whatsoever, sir, starting today. 500 on count 1, 2,000 on count 2. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Gary and Holder. All right, it's position 3, 22 CP 212415, 117 days without indictment, no bond as of September the 16th, burglary in the 2nd degree, pre-trial.
But in regards to Mr. Holder, 19 prior arrests, multi-state offender, 3 in Indiana, 1 in Illinois, more than 19, that's 19 in Georgia, 39 in Florida, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 convictions for cocaine. Prior weapons, 07 grand theft, 2010 burglary, and prior FTA. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Lang.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Holder is 60 years old. He has 2 children, a high school graduate education. He was unemployed at the time of his arrest. He was arrested, during a time where a lot of people are having trouble finding work. He is looking for work. He was just not able to find any prior to his arrest. He's lived in Georgia for over half his life, lives at the address on file with his brother. He's a United States Navy veteran. He was medically discharged, currently working with the VA for a MH diagnosis that came out of his service, but hoping that the VA will continue to help him with resources in that aspect. Looking at what we have right now, as Your Honor stated, he is in over 90 days with no bond. Looking at the charges in this case, I would ask the court to consider UJR where appropriate and ask for the total bond not to exceed $7,500. Good.
All right, Ms. Lugo.
Yes, Your Honor, the state would be asking for a $20,000 bond in this case, given all of his, given his prior history. He does have a recent bench warrant from September 16th. And his history of theft, we believe he poses a significant danger to the community and a danger to reoffend and a flight risk.
All right, Mr. Lang, is that going to be a Atlanta address? The pretrial report's pulling up kind of slow.
One moment. College Park. So yes, Fulton County.
All right, so it's going to be on the Fulton County side or the Clayton County side? College Park split twice. Sir, is it Fulton County, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Mr. Holder, do you know, is your address on the Fulton County side of College Park or the Clayton County side of College Park? Raise your hand if it's Fulton, leave your hand down if it's Clayco. He raised his hand, so Fulton.
Okay.
On the Fulton side?
All right. Okay, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 5415 Old National Highway, the Daiquiri Bar. No further contact with your co-defendant, Terrence Fonfield, Fonfield. Stay away from that daiquiri bar. It seems to be getting hit a lot. You're gonna have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, except for court, lawyer, and medical. Is he gonna get a job, Mr. Lang?
We're working on it, Your Honor.
All right. Must provide an address where you're going to be staying if you're going to move. You can also leave for employment and to look for employment, but you have to you can only leave for court, lawyer, medical. Provide the name of your employer, proof of employment, a schedule, and the location you'll be working. You have to supply that to Mr. Lang and the ankle monitoring company. They'll supply that to the state. $15,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Lomax. All right, let's see. It's 22CP209174. Jeremiah Elijah Lamar Lomax, 237 days without indictment. There is a $7,500 good bond on theft by receiving stolen property and possession of firearm during the commission or attempt to commit certain felonies. Pre-trial.
Judge one FTA and another open case 22, well, the other, sorry. The other open case was position 2 that was indicted 22 SC 185517 financial transaction card theft, financial transaction card fraud, theft by receiving stolen property. Nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Sampson.
I'm sorry, what case was indicted? I don't have any notice of an indicted case.
There was a position 2 and it was indicted on Lomax.
What day was that? I mean, I'm sorry, what's the case number?
22 SC 185517.
Oh, Lord.
All right, so go ahead with this one.
Yes, Your Honor. I received notice that his sister will be bonding him out this time. Also, I received documentation from Chris 180 that he's gone through involved in their program as well, Your Honor. While he's been in jail, he also received certificates in regards to completions of different programs in the jail, Your Honor, while he's been in there. He has been in, as you already know, for 217 days, and I believe these cases are accusable, so the other one should have been at least been accused by this time. I'm asking for his bond to be brought down to $2,000, Your Honor.
All right, what says the state?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. What is his current bond amount?
It's 7,500.
Yes, Your Honor. The state would ask that you not lower it any lower than $5,000. We do believe that he poses a danger to reoffend.
I believe it's no bond for the 21 CP case.
No, this is a 22 CP case.
That's what I thought.
And it's a $7,500 good bond.
No, I mean, he's got.
I
two
think there was
cases
a
on it.
bench
Oh,
warrant,
it's
Your
indicted.
Honor.
I'm sorry.
Well, we're
I think
not-
it was a bench
Yeah,
warrant.
I got it. Thanks. I got it. Go.
All right, so this is all I'm gonna talk about is this one. Is that good? All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact with Anna, A-N-A, Reyes, R-E-Y-E-S. Stay away from 3102 Martin Luther King Jr. Gonna have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment. You have to supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, your schedule, and the exact location you'll be working, sir. So we got $1,000 and $4,000. 1,000 count 1, 4,000 count 2. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Miss Bray, you think it'll help if maybe we put you in a breakout room with your client?
Well, he just keeps making gestures, so I'm thinking maybe so, Your Honor. I do have Terrence Logan that I'm also covering for Miss Gowdy. But what I wanted to say on Mr. Dawson was, since I have the name of the case manager, how about I call her tomorrow and I have her call Deputy Amjadi? That way, whatever questions Deputy Amjadi has, she can answer them. And if once she's answered them, Deputy Amjadi is feeling okay with his being released to them, then we could send a consent thing to Your Honor.
How about that, Ms. Amjadi?
That sounds great, Your Honor. And Miss Bray, I do appreciate the promotion, but I'm not actually a deputy.
Oh, I thought, I'm sorry, girl. I thought
No,
you
it's
were.
no problem at all. I just don't want people in my office to think that I'm saying I have
Oh, okay. I'm
higher
sorry.
role than I actually do.
We promoted you, Ms. Amjadi.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we
I
promoted you.
appreciate that, Your Honor.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, Miss Bray.
All right, let's see. Tashawn Varner, Mr. Varner.
Okay, so are we done with Mr. Dawson then?
Yeah, that'll be fine. We're done. Mr. Dawson, we're gonna probably have you a consent bond to get you in the program tomorrow. But if not, you want to bring it back Thursday in case?
Yes. Because I'm on Thursday too, and I think Miss Gowdy will be back on Thursday. But I will reach out to Miss Cox tomorrow.
Ms. Robinson, can we bring him back on Thursday in case we don't have that consent?
Yes, Judge, I'll do an add-on and add him in the abundance of caution.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So, Mr. Dawson, we'll probably have a consent or whatever. Thank you. Have a good one. All right, let's see. All right, Tashawn. So 21 CP 202881 Tashawn Varner, 145 days without indictment. Looks like pretrial came off of a bond here. So it was a $5,000 split bond. We got possession of marijuana with intent to distribute and possession of controlled substance, schedule 1 or 2 with intent to contribute. Free at last bonding is still on and did not come off, as far as I know, of the possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission of a felony. So we're just addressing those first 2 charges. Pre-trial.
Judge's only prior arrest.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Beck.
It's me, Your Honor. I'm covering for Ms. Beck.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No worries. Mr. Varner is 21 years old. He lives at the address on file, which is a Fountain Drive address in Atlanta, Georgia. I believe that's on the Fulton County side. He's a lifelong resident of Georgia. He has a high school education. He was self-employed at the time of his arrest, working as a clothing designer. Looking at the nature of the cases here, understanding, obviously, like Your Honor said, this is a pretrial surrender. He was originally given pretrial, got out on bond, and then an issue arose where pretrial ended up surrendering those bonds. I'm not going to ask the court to reinstate at this time. I believe, the fact that they were surrendered says enough for Your Honor. However, I am asking the court to set a reasonable bond on these charges. There's already a $5,000 bond on the remaining charge. However, he obviously won't need to pay that bond again. So I'm asking that on the remaining 2 charges, Your Honor, set a bond not to exceed $7,500.
All right. Ms. Lugo.
Yes, Your Honor, the state is asking for $5,000 on each of the narcotics charges, and a stay away from 844 MLK Drive for a total of $15,000. Well, he already had, for a total of $10,000. He already has made the 5 on the gun.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. I got also stay away from 938 Washington Road and 844 MLK Junior Drive. No further contact with your co-defendant, Lavonta, Lovonta Good, and Carey, Carey Adams. You can't have any contact with them, sir. It's your first case. I'm not going to put the ankle monitor on you. So we'll do $2,000 count 1, $5,000 count 2. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Quentin James. Quentin James. No Quentin James?
Yeah, I think you mean Quentin Jones. I think there was a problem in Odyssey with his name.
Well, I meant James. That's what it said. But is it Jones? Quentin Jones?
Yes, Your Honor.
Quentin Jones. Still no hands. Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan. McBride. All right, McBride. We got 2-2. It's position 20. 2-2 CP 207-412. Is it Jahan? I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, sir. McBride. 307 days without indictment. Had a $47,000 good bond as of July 19th, 2022. With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 counts of entering automobile, theft by taking, and criminal trespass. And there is
McBride. 9 prior arrests here, no felony convictions, only a couple of FTAs, 3 in Maryland, no dispositions.
all
Nothing
right.
further.
Go ahead, Ms. Sampson.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. McBride has been in the Fulton County Jail for
307 days.
Okay, thank you. Yes, 307 days, Your Honor. I believe these cases are, they are accusable as well. And he's actually already had his preliminary hearing, I believe several months ago. So at this time, that's exactly what he's waiting on. At this time, Your Honor, I'm asking for his bond, I believe, is right now $50,000. Of course, he cannot afford that. I'm asking for his bond to be set no higher than $10,000 for these nonviolent charges.
It's 40,000, but go ahead, Ms. Lugo.
Yes, Your Honor, it does, Mr.
47, excuse me, 47.
47,000,
Okay.
yeah. Mr. McBride does have another open case. It's 22 CP 207-331 that he has a $4,000 bond on. That's a marijuana case. He also has 2 active warrants out of DeKalb County. The state believes that he poses a significant danger to reoffend, endangered property in the community. We'd ask for a stay away from 2050 Liddell Drive.
And Your Honor, that's actually incorrect. The marijuana charge was dismissed months ago. To be specific, it was dismissed on October 10th, 2022 by, if my memory serves me correct, the judge is Judge Drake.
Okay. Do you want the two case numbers for the warrants?
Oh, no, not Judge Drake. My apologies, Elizabeth George.
Okay. Do you want the two warrant case numbers or do you see it on Odyssey?
The two warrant numbers?
Uh-huh. So it's 19W011575 and 19W011576.
Sorry, the second one, please.
19W011576. And Ms. Lugo says they're out of DeKalb County. So we got no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact with Robbie, R-O-B-I, Hilliard, H-I-L-L-A-R-D. Stay away from 2050 Liddell, L-I-D-E-L-L Drive. That's Fudo's Wrecker Service. I got the no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor. I forgot to mention, I'm glad you mentioned the DeKalb issue. So he was actually alone out to DeKalb, I believe, early last year, and then he was brought back. So those, it's my understanding that those may have been the ones that were already addressed while he was already in DeKalb last year.
So you may want to check, because I don't know, but they're on there just in case if there's a home. All right. Can a bank monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew except for court, lawyer, attorney visits? Guest to provide a good address upon release. What's his, where's he going to be living?
He's going to be living at the, I just had it. It is, my understanding, the address on the pretrial report. My apologies, I got so many files on my desk right now.
That's okay. I'm just trying to open it up in Odyssey so I can see it. Because some reason I put down here before he had to provide an address when he was released. He didn't have an address. He was going to live in July.
Yeah, so the address that I have is the 405 Fairburn Road. It's the one on his booking report. It's in Atlanta.
Is that where you're going to live, sir? Because you weren't going to live there in July. Okay. Make sure if that's not it, you provide an address upon release. So we've got, let's see, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 3,000, and 500. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, and 500. You got that, Madam Clerk?
You're requiring me to do a lot of math tonight.
Yes,
My
Your Honor.
God.
Best of luck to you. Just go on the old bond order and write the numbers down. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Let's see, Terrence Logan. You just got
sorry, just for clarification, McBride, I will inform your family of the number and then they'll let you know. Okay.
And Your Honor, very
Yes.
quickly, just because you did call his name, Mr. Nolan is now present in 4 South Booth 3.
Let's see, all right. Okay. So we got Nolan. Do we have last name James or Jones? Still don't have that person. All right, Terrence Logan. There you go. 22 CP 212182, 124 days without indictment. Right now there is a $2,500 split bond. So there's only bond on the first 2 counts and the remaining have no bond. So there's VGCSA possession or control of Schedule 1 or 2, giving false information to law enforcement officer, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 burglaries in the 2nd degree, and 1 possession of tools for the commission of a crime. Preach. Wow.
Terrence Logan?
Terrence
Oh,
Logan.
yeah, number 5. Multi-state offender, 5 arrests in South Carolina, 1 in North Carolina, 1 in Georgia, 2 arrests for probation violation, on probation, robbery, ag assault, firearm by, 2 years confinement, 5 years probation, 19 SE 166707. sentence 10/7/19, prior also for burglary in the first, tools 10/8/19, 2 years confinement, 3 years probation, conviction for 2018 for meth, nothing further.
Go ahead, Ms. Bray.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Logan is 35 years old. He is a lifelong resident of Georgia. According to Ms. Gowdy's notes, she has done a change of address form. It's already been filed. His address is 3424 Boring Road, Decatur, Georgia, 30034. He has been in custody for 124 days without indictment. So those charges that he has no bond on, he is entitled to a bond per 17-7-50. He has no children. He works as a general laborer. All of his family is here in Georgia, and he has not had a bond yet. So, and he maintains his innocence. And Ms. Gowdy has a note that she's looking forward to the prelim because the warrants do not mention that he is physically responsible for the burglaries. And he's maintaining his innocence, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Lugo.
This is Miss Amjadi.
Ms. Amjadi.
Did she leave us?
No, she's there. Ms. Amjadi,
I apologize, Your Honor. I thought my business was concluded with the court.
that's okay, but 7 North, sit down. I don't want to see your business. You're jerking your pants down and up. Sit down, 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 sit down. My God in heaven. All right, Ms. Amjadi, go ahead.
Judge, did you mention to sit down?
I'm
I
sorry.
did sit down. He's sitting there playing with his pants and doing all kinds of stuff, and I don't want to see about what he's about to expose. Go ahead, Ms. Amjadi.
Your Honor, which position number is this?
Position 5, Terrence Logan.
Oh, okay, Your Honor. With respect to the 11 counts of commercial burglary, Your Honor, I believe a typical bond amount for that charge is about $10,000. But because we do have 10 counts of those, that would be a total of $110,000 aggregate in addition to what we already have. However, Your Honor, the reason the state is not amenable to a lower amount is because the defendant has 14 arrest cycles since July of 2015. For that reason, bond is previously set on counts 1 and 2 for the VGCSA and giving false information are already reasonable. We would respectfully request bond in the amount of $10,000 for each of the commercial burglary charges and a $5,000 bond for the possession of tools for commission of a crime. The total bond for the new or the prior no bond positions is $115,000 plus the $2,500 for an aggregate of $117,500, Your Honor.
No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 268 Westminster Drive Northeast. Stay away from all public storage facilities. You're gonna have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, except for court, lawyer, and medical.
And Your Honor, I'm asking for 5 on those.
Okay.
I just,
All right, 24-hour curfew, court, medical, lawyer, and you can also employment as long as you supply the name of your employer, your schedule, and exactly where you're going to be working. But you have to make sure that you supply proof of that employment, sir. Also, you have to stay out of Fulton County. You live in Decatur, that's DeKalb County. The only reason you come back to Fulton County is court and to see your lawyer. No further contact with your co-defendant, Brandon Miller. And no further contact with the alleged victims. Johan, Johan, last name Napoleon. No further contact with Gito Gunther, Gunther, or Ferry, Farrie, Lyons, Lyons, Gloria Chang, Chang, Jacob Taylor, Keith Carter, Brandon Shaw, or Carolina Beery, Biery. That ankle monitor will be paid for by the county. All right, so count 1, 1,500, count two. 500 on the burglaries. We'll make them all 5,000 and possession of tools for a crime 1,000. So 1,500, 500, all the burglaries 5,000, and then 1,000 on the possession of tools for a crime. That's a 24-hour curfew, sir. Best of luck to you.
Is that 53,000?
Yes,
You know, math is not my strong point.
You
Come
know it's
on.
not. That's why we all went to medical school. Now whether what my Jewish mama said, right? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 counts of burglary times 5,000, 1,000 for possession of tool for a crime. 1,500 and 500. How about
Okay,
that?
so 57.
Best of luck to you, sir. All right, we got Alex Haltwanger. Yeah, yes, sir. You can leave. All right. It's 22 CP 208-816. 252 days without indictment. There is a $6,000 good bond as of August the 6th on theft by receiving stolen property, giving a false name, driving without a valid license. Pre-trial.
In regards to Alex Haltwinger, 30 prior arrests in South Carolina, at least 4, 5 felony convictions, open case in Morgan County for fleeing and eluding and theft by receiving stolen property, 2 misdemeanors, 1 being a criminal domestic violence. Those 5 felonies are 4 burglaries and theft by shoplifting. Nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Miss Sampson.
I don't know why Bostic has a country accent all of a sudden, but
She's mocking me, Miss Sampson. She's mocking me.
It's Alex for Alex.
I was like, wait a minute. Okay, yes, Your Honor. Mr. Haltwanger has been waiting for his preliminary hearing at this point, as well as to be released from jail. One or the other, Your Honor, at this point. So I'm asking for him to be granted a bond. The bond that he has, the last bond hearing he had was in August 2016. And based on the charges on the calendar, these are also accusable charges. So he's basically waiting for an accusation at this point, Your Honor. I'm asking that his bond be lowered down to $4,000 if you're not inclined to signature bond, at least through pretrial services level 2.
Ms. Amjadi, she's bringing another case. Go ahead, Ms. Amjadi.
Your Honor, bond is previously set as fair and reasonable given the defendant's criminal history and the charges alleged. Thank you.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no driving without a valid license, stay away from 795 Sonoya Road in Fairburn, Georgia. And no further contact with Alejandro Maldonado, Maldonado. Ms. Chavez would be very proud of me with Alejandro pronouncement there. All right, so we got 3,250 and 250. 3,250 and 250. Best of luck to you, sir.
That's $3,500. I got one this time.
Boom. All right, now we've got Christopher Nolan.
That concludes my business, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Christopher Nolan.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. See you tomorrow, Daddy.
All right, make sure that was you. Okay, it's a position for 22 CP 206-570. This may be another one they're going to bring to you. 334 days without indictment. You got theft by taking, 2 counts of willful obstruction, reckless conduct. There is a $6,000 good bond as of August the 3rd. Pre-trial.
It's 22. SC 181-957, theft by taking, theft by receiving, Judge Edwards on probation for burglary, 11/12/19, 1 year confinement, 4 years probation, 19 SC 168-496. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Lang.
Yes, Your Honor. Just for a little bit of procedural history, in this case, Your Honor actually set the original bond at first appearance of $5,000 at his preliminary hearing on August 3rd. A charge was added and a $1,000 bond was added to that. So he has not had a bond reduction since his first appearance. He's had his bond increased at his preliminary hearing. Looking at the information we have, Mr. Nolan is 56 years old, high school graduate. He actually turned 56 in the jail. He has 2 adult children. He was unemployed at the time of his arrest, but was in the process of applying for disability due to advanced arthritis and an MH diagnosis. He's a lifelong resident of Georgia. He has a good address on file. It's the Knighton Drive address, I believe. Hard to read Miss Beck's handwriting, I apologize for that. Graduated from Grady High School. Looking at everything we have, Your Honor, I'm asking the court to consider unsecured judicial releases in this case. I do not know off the top of my head what the subject of the theft was. I believe it was a vehicle, if I remember my reading of the police report correct, which would mean it would be eligible for a signature bond. So I'd be asking the court to consider UJR on all charges. Otherwise, dropping the bond to 2,500 good.
All right, what says the state?
Yes, Your Honor, the state is opposed to any reduction. He also has a probation hold. That's 19 SC 168496. We believe that the bond is fair and reasonable as set.
I apologize, AD Lugo, could you give me that number one more time for the probation issue?
Yes, 19 SC 168496.
Thank you.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 650 Jet Street. No further contact with Marshall Ranger, Ranger. 24-hour curfew, ankle monitor paid for by the county. You can leave for court, medical, lawyer, employment is, well, you're gonna have disability, but so court, medical, lawyer, and if you're gonna have appointments if you're applying for disability, sir. So 2,500, 500, and 500. 2,500, 500, 500. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave.
Just for the court's notice, I did look up that probation case. It does look like that revocation hearing already happened and has been resolved.
Okay.
All right, you can leave the booth, sir. So all we were missing was Quentin Jones or James, LT.
He should be right outside the door.
All right, could you send in Mr. Quentin, please, sir?
And Your Honor, that does conclude my business before you this evening. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Lane. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Take care. Good to see you, Teresa.
Good to see you too. Take care, Mr. Lang. Will you be joining the meeting tomorrow?
I am not sure. I think I have at least 2 court calendars I'm on tomorrow, so I might be
Oh.
sending someone in my stead.
Well, have fun at those, Mr. Lang.
Of
Your
course,
place will be
every time.
empty.
Okay, what meeting are we talking about for tomorrow? Am I supposed to be a part of that?
If you want
Only if you wish
some,
to.
yeah, if you want a case accused.
Well, I got some. They've been in over a year. I've been waiting.
All right, so we got that. There was one bond modification for Mallard. Mr. Cho, do you want to hear that while they see if they can find this other person? Oh, there he is, Mr. Jones. All right. Are you Quentin Jones? Okay. All right, so right now it's Quentin James. So I guess something needs to be changed, but it's 22 CP 208920.
It ain't in there?
He's in there. 248 days without indictment, entering an automobile with intent to commit a theft and willful obstruction and criminal trespass. There is a $4,500 bond as of September the 15th. Pre-trial.
Judge, I don't have that one. I have to run it
Okay,
under Jones or James.
it was, I think it was add-on number 1.
Yeah, I don't have them under Jones or James.
Okay, Ms. Safarazi, why don't you go ahead while she tries to look it up? You got the booking number?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
He's been in custody, like you said, 248 days without an indictment. He had his preliminary hearing back in September, so it's been about 5 months now. We have submitted him to the bail project, Your Honor, but I haven't heard back, so I'm gonna resubmit him to see if we can get his bond posted. We're still gonna ask for a reduction today, though, Your Honor. He cannot make the bond that's set. It's also set as a straight bond. And so we would be asking if we could reduce it to a 2,000 good bond, so he could potentially go to a bonding company or his family can. Your Honor, my client, he's 30 years old. He was originally from South Carolina, but he moved here when he was a child. We do have a good address for him. That is the same address on his on the court system, Your Honor, and he lives there with his mom. He's a high school graduate and he was looking for work when he got picked up. So we are gonna ask that you do reduce his bond to 2,000 total and make it a good bond. I just also want to note, Your Honor, that one of the felony criminal damage was dismissed and it was reduced to a misdemeanor. So we are dealing with one felony in this case and then 2 misdemeanors. Thank you.
Okay, is that an Atlanta address?
Yes, Your Honor, it is. I could read the address for you if you would like.
As long as it's the Atlanta address. Go ahead, Ms. Lugo. This is the 248 days. Maybe you're gonna take it to the meeting with Ms. Amjadi, see if you can get it accused.
It will probably be brought to the meeting tomorrow, Your Honor. But the state believes that the bond is fair and reasonable set. We have no objection to the $4,500 being made a good bond if it's a straight bond, but state doesn't see any reason that it should be reduced and modified in such a substantial way.
Okay, so
Only felony was, appears to be a 09 theft by taking. There's a 2018, 2 FTAs in 2018, 2 misdemeanors, nothing further.
all right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 506 Moreland Avenue. No further contact with Courtney Stinson, Stinson. No further contact with Elliot Edwards, or no further contact with AMASIYA, last name Alene, ALENE. So we'll make it 1,500 on count 1. 400 and then 500. 1,500, 400 and 500. Best of luck to you, sir. Now, Mr. Cho, we got the one bond modification for Mallard.
And Your Honor, I believe that concludes my business. May I be excused?
Absolutely.
All right, it was good to see you, Your Honor. Happy New Year.
You too. Ms. Amjadi, you going to handle the bond modification? Is Mr. Mallard here?
He is not, Your Honor.
Okay.
On our calendar?
Well, it's a bond.
He's on the calendar. He's an add-on. If the court's not willing to pursue it forward, it's to be candid, a reach on my part. So
That's a bond. That's a bond modification. What part are you? Okay, it's 22 CP 214-288 and drill Mallard. It's armed robbery. There's a $54,000 bond, and there's something you want to modify. What is it, Mr. Cho? You want to modify on this?
Judge, he was requesting that the curfew be adjusted. He showed me some text messages of a new job offer. That curfew that he had was not compatible with it. I suggested that he speak with the ankle monitoring folks to try to get it modified that way. He instructed me to get a bond modification instead. So I'm before the court at his command's not the right word, but at his request, I guess.
All right. Let's see what. I'm trying to pull it up. See, what did he have? A 24-hour curfew, or did he have?
It was a 24-hour curfew. When we interviewed him, we had the work hours that he had. The court adjusted it accordingly. I believe that was at first appearance. I have spoken with Mr. Millard's mom several times. So she is a responsible adult who cares very deeply for her child and is trying to watch out and do what's in his best interest. So this is not an individual that should be unsupervised in any kind of way. He has an adult who loves him very clearly and wants what's best for him. Mr. Millard instructed me to request a modification to the curfew. I have not received any further updates on the time schedules, but I did receive a text message screenshot previously. And I believe his request is that there not be a curfew at this time.
I'm looking for the bond, the one that's on. I don't see the bond order on here.
I didn't either, Your Honor.
When I see
He's definitely not in jail, so
I see that, because when I say have 11/29/2022 says no bond.
Mr. Millard?
Yeah,
That's the only thing
He
that there
received
is.
the bond at first appearance. I know that for a fact because we had to sit there and negotiate the time periods for his house arrest to work to be compatible with the work he was doing at the time. He says he's received I'll have to double check that, but I did not get him out of jail in any kind of sneaky way. I would assume.
No,
It's a
Your Honor,
$55,000 bond, Judge.
It's a
No,
$50,000 bond. They have no bond on a thing, but it's
Yeah.
50,000.
okay, because it's not opening for me. That's kind of the whole
Oh.
thing. I can't see it. It's not opening, and it does say no bond, so I didn't think you were. But I mean, so is it got a 24-hour curfew? What kind of work is he doing?
He was working at Walmart previously, evening shift, and he received he sent me a text message for a new job that was for warehouse work. He said it was a much better opportunity with the ability to go with the ability to advance further with diligent work. For some reason, it's not showing up in my email, although I saw it earlier today. And otherwise, I would have that for the court. So I apologize. Yeah, I understand the charge is a very serious charge.
Your Honor, I just didn't.
Judge,
see
I did
all-
find the screenshots. There's an orientation on Mondays and Wednesdays. Wednesdays at 1:30, and the shifts are from 3:30 in the afternoon to 12 in the morning. And those are Monday through Saturday is what, but it's a warehouse position that will be on the cold side. No lashes, facial piercings, nails are allowed. I don't think those are anything that he has to worry about, but I don't have the specific name of the warehouse.
Mr. Cho, would it
Yes.
be possible to get more information?
Yes, that's
stated,
fine.
the charge
I
is
know it's a little
serious.
thin. I acknowledge that.
Yeah, so it says a 24, thank you, LT. I think LT wanted to leave. It's, yeah, now that I got it, thank you, Mr. Rod. It says 24-hour curfew except for work between the hours of 6 p.m. to midnight. So,
So that was, Judge, that was for the Walmart job. That was what we were told at first appearance during the interview, confirmed with mom. That's what time he was working, which is what we got for the when the bond was actually set. Subsequent to his release, he's contacted me several times requesting a different time period.
well, yeah, I think, Ms. Amjadi, if you get something like in writing what his schedule is going to be, then there you go. We're just not gonna just say, okay.
Understood. I appreciate the court's time. I know it's getting late. Ms. Amjadi, what time should I call you tomorrow?
If it could just be in the afternoon, Mr. Cho, and then I'm going to send an email to the pre-indictment team, at least those who are here today, with a Zoom link.
Okay.
So that way your office doesn't have to be the meeting office
Okay. Thank you so
or
much.
the party office, if you will.
Okay, so then we'll just, if y'all come up with an agreement or something, just let me know. Sound good?
Absolutely.
right.
Yes,
Judge, does this one not need to be reset? We're just gonna let them try to see if they can resolve it.
please.
All right, that's what we'll do.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Your Honor, it's really, really, really good to see you. Happy New Year's.
Oh, you too. Happy New Year. Anything else from anybody else? I think we can stop the stream, right? I think we're good.